The most important question I got was, what is your legacy? Not a material legacy, but if life stops now, how do you want to be remembered? What is your frequency legacy? The Phoenix Frequency podcasts are results from that question. When all seemed burnt in your life, the fertile ash of a phoenix is filled with compassion, love, forgiveness, empowerment, intuition, wisdom, generosity, creativity, resilience, a balance of an evolution and involution, what is needed to rise. I am Nienke van Bezooijen and I live my Phoenix frequencies. On a weekly basis, I share my insights, my resources, and I have guests who Phoenix themselves. If it resonates to you, you're welcome to rise. Welcome. My dear South Korean friend Daeyoung Kim attended me on a video of Brene Brown where she is interviewed about why fitting in is not sustainable. I highly recommend taking a look. But I thought it was a wonderful topic to have a deep dive for the Phoenix frequencies. With the question, where do you compromise to fit in your life? Avoiding the pain of separation. Do you recognize the feeling that you're tired explaining your acts and behavior, and people criticize you because you are different? It is in the human nature to flourish in an environment where you are accepted for who you are. People around you don't need to agree with what you do, but you belong because of who you are. You feel accepted and loved in a surrounding where you can grow or grow up. You feel you belong. That can be your family, community, or workspace. If you grow or shift your frequencies, it can be a pitfall to think or even expect that your circle of belonging growth at the same pace as you do. The reality is they don't. And that can be experienced as painful. Sometimes so painful, we start to compromise and work hard to try to fit in again. Being cut off socially, treated as an outlaw deliberately, and that separation is so painful. Research shows that that pain has the same intensity as hitting yourself with a hammer on your thumb, for example. It's visible in your brain. And it isn't strange that we develop a survival system to avoid that pain of separation. The responses of that pain can be very different. And I see it in the Dutch politics right now. For years, a majority of the population didn't feel that they were heard or seen. And decisions were made around them, not with them. The government controlled their life based on lack of trust, dynamics of suspicion, and from there being treated with penalties. The Dutch people spoke in democracy with their votes. And now, as we speak, 4 people, different parties, need to collaborate. 4 people reacting based on their reaction system of being pushed out for a long time. From their victimhood, I see 4 different responses. From the biggest party, you see a man, and he behaves like the bully. Hurt people. It's all about revenge. Naming, blaming, shaming without self-reflection. Overpowering is the best protection for yourself. The second one is a fact checker. The power of knowledge and knowing better. Fitting the system is different from leading the system. And then there is the representative of the countryside wisdom. Farmers being labeled as stupid, dumb people. Revenge. And then there is the immigrant's daughter, proving you can be one of the guys. Those 4 people need to lead the country based on elections. But trying to fit in under pressure with a system of hurt people wasn't sustainable. I wonder how the whole thing will develop. That's the reflection of what I see in politics. But if I look at myself, and maybe if you're listening, you look at yourself. My system of fitting in and trying hard to be a good family member burned me down. With my grandmother, I felt I belonged, free to be me in all my expressions, but she was an exception. I've been trying to be a good partner, mother, team member, trying so hard it made me vulnerable for critique. Maybe up to 50 years, I've been trying more or less to fit in until I cracked. I phoenixed at a high price. My surrounding didn't like that shift. The fact that I stopped my effort to fit in wasn't appreciated. What I learned the hard way was don't put the keys of happiness in someone else's pocket. I had to learn and relearn to feel I belong to myself and feel comfortable within and with myself first. And if I other my feelings of belonging, it becomes very tricky to be on that slippery road and self-compromise, trying to fit in again. Self-acceptance, honestly, hard vulnerability helped me. And if that's accepted by my biological family, that's a bonus, not a given. And if that's accepted by my surrounding, living the same frequencies, that's helpful. But the path of growth is never linear, and your roots in growth are there when you start to belong to yourself unconditionally. And just realize it's like a warm bath where you can stand cold drops. The tap of comfortable warmth is within you, never outside you, because that self-leadership starts with self. Alone is not lonely. Self-compassion is not pity. And self-love is not self-proving. And sometimes how you feel inside isn't even visible for the outside world. And that can be a helpful thing too, if it's too dangerous in war zones where people are so far off your frequency. Like Nelson Mandela, you can be free inside a prison and you can be in prison outside the prison. We all have a choice. And why are we trying so hard to fit in when you're born to stand out? I was taught for a long time in public speaking. Nowadays, I would say it differently. Why are you trying so hard to find your belonging within others when you can feel you belong within yourself, always and everywhere? Just change your frequency. Does that give you space to be free at any time, no matter the circumstances? In my experience, that was my big shift. For me, that's what I found as a gift in my phoenix frequencies, had my rising from the ashes. That's what I would love for you as well, because you don't need to put the key of your happiness, the key of your belonging in someone else's pocket. You own it yourself.